Hello, students. Greetings of the day. Today we are going to have the third lecture of chapter 3, first phase of Indian national movement. In this chapter, we were studying about the very initial phase of Indian national movement, which started after the foundation of uh, Indian National Congress in 1885. So, in 1885, Indian National Congress was founded, and its leaders were called moderates or early nationalists. We have studied about their beliefs, like Dadabhai Nauroji, Froshah Mehta, W.C. Banerjee. What were their beliefs? Okay, we have studied about their demands also in last lecture. In this lecture, we are going to study about the methods. Okay, the methods which they followed uh, to put their demands in front of Britishers. Okay. Now, what were the methods? There were two set of methods. Okay, there were two objectives. One objective was to educate Indian people, and another was to influence British government. Okay, so for these two things, different methods were there. For educating Indian people, they used to do meetings and speeches. Okay, and Indian National Congress used to organize its uh, session in December. In that session, one resolution was put to vote. Okay, resolution was a proposal that what they are supposed to do next year, right? Which reforms they will focus on. So that was done. Meetings and speeches were delivered by to educate Indian people uh, about the modern ideas of equality, democracy, fraternity, about rights. Okay, to educate Indian people about all these concepts because Indian people were not aware by such concepts. Indian people were ruled by Rajas and Maharajas, and they were leastly aware by the concept of rights, concepts of equality, concepts of fraternity, and all these things. Okay, democracy, right? So in Europe, one political revolution was going on, social, political, and economic revolution was going on, and new ideas were emerging in Europe. So it was the duty of early nationalists, okay, to educate Indian people about these concepts, okay, so that after knowing, after becoming aware by their rights, okay, so that they can also struggle to claim their rights, okay, they can also make pressure on the Britishers, okay, to bring some reforms, either in constitution, economy, or society, or anywhere. Okay, so for this they used to use of press to criticize government policies. They used to criticize government policies, used to publish articles in the newspapers, and after reading those articles, Indian peoples used to understand, okay, how Britishers were exploiting Indians, how Britishers are responsible for our exploitation, and what is their role to stop that, what they are supposed to do. Okay, then memorandum were the written reminders, okay, or petitions were filed by the early nationalists. Although these were addressed to the Britishers, okay, they used to give memorandum and petitions to the British officials, Britishers, but the objective of this memorandum was to educate Indian people again. Okay, whichever memorandum they used to give, the entire memorandum used to publish in newspaper. They have given such type of memorandum to the government. Now their draft, okay, their demands, everything will be read by the common people, and now common people will understand that these are our rights. Okay, we should have all these rights. We are Indian people, and they have come from a foreign land, and they have captured all our resources, right? And we are not having some civil rights also, so we should have all these rights. So in order to educate them, their methods, these methods were their meetings and speeches, okay, and session of Indian National Congress, and use of press for making aware to criticize government policies, okay, and memorandum and petitions in order to educate Indian people. Then the second thing was to influence British government and British people, right? In this triple P is very important. Okay, in exam you have to write this. Do not forget if they just simply ask you what were the methods adopted by early nationalists to put forward their demand, or what were the methods of agitation of the early nationalists. So you will mention these three P's, okay? In any case, you will write all these things, but three P's are special: petitions, prayers, and protest. Petition, prayer, and protest. They used to file petitions in front of the Britishers. They used to pray, okay, and protest also, agitation sometime also, right? So this entire method in one word is called constitutional agitation. Constitutional agitation means whatever they did within the four walls of constitution. They were not violating law of the land, okay? They were not violating law, they were not against the constitution, right? Within the constitution and without violating laws, they were putting forward their demands, okay? They put forward their demands, and their demands were put in various methods, okay? By various methods, like by petitions, by prayers, by protest, okay? And they also made British common people aware by the plight of Indians. Delegations from India like Dadabhai Naoroji and various other people used to go to Britain to educate British common people, okay, to make them aware by the plight of Indian people, by the sufferings of the Indian people. And for that, in 1889, they established one committee of Indian National Congress in Britain also, okay, and it used to publish a journal named India, right? And in that journal, they used to write about the sufferings, economical sufferings, okay, political sufferings of the Indian people, right? Why? In order to have the popular support of Britain, okay, to have the support of British people, so that British people will force the British government to give some rights to the Indian people, and then British government will give some right to us, right? In order to have sympathy, they carried out their active propaganda, okay? These things were there. So I hope you would have understood all these methods. Thank you so much.